Bill Maher just said that the Democrats don't want to admit there's no more bullets in the gun. We have no power. And the Vigilant Fox says that that wasn't a joke. That was a truth bomb. He dropped it right after Reason editor Matt Welch postured about Trump deporting violent illegal aliens. And this is actually, there's a pun here.
Americans are in support of deporting criminals. Absolutely. Violent criminals, it's like 97-1. Yes, deport the violent criminals, but they're not in favor at all of the president of the United States defying the Supreme Court. It's like an 80-20 issue. He's on the wrong side of that.
But okay, but so what? If I may address the little shot you just gave me, so fucking what, okay? I don't understand this. We're at that part of the movie where there's a gunfight and the guy, and then click, click. There's no more bullets in the gun. We have no power. So how do we handle this? And Gretchen Whitmer showed us one way. Can we show that picture? Because she was in the Oval Office, same place I was a few weeks before. And this is what she did. Okay, I think there's a couple of ways to handle the Oval Office, and this is not the way I chose. You don't want to talk to people? You have no power.
This is actually, there's a pun here. Bill Maher says the Democrats don't want to admit it. There's no more bullets in the gun. We have no power. And it's probably because this next clip that I'm going to show you guys is new. 2 illegal aliens from Mexico arrested in Colorado for unlawful possession of 180,000 rounds of ammunition, 308 and 7.62 rifle rounds.
2 Mexican citizens are facing federal charges after they were allegedly traveling in a car carrying 180,000 rounds of ammunition in southern Colorado. According to the criminal complaint, Martinez Solis and Ivan Amador Gaviria were arrested after a Fremont County deputy pulled them over in Canyon City for not dimming their headlights as they drove by. During that stop, officers found 180 boxes of ammunition, each of which contained 1,000 rounds. There were approximately 150 boxes of 308 ammunition, a common hunting round, and about 30 boxes of 7.62 ammo, which is commonly used in AK-47s. Both Solis and Gaviria are now being charged with unlawful possession of ammunition by an alien admitted under non-immigrant U.S. visa.
So, yeah, there's all your ammunition. The illegals have them. These foreign terrorists and bloodthirsty gang members are now arming up on American soil, and Democrats are going to get Americans killed. Meanwhile, Americans are killing Americans without bullets. They're using knives. For instance, Carmelo Anthony. And this one here really, really should get you guys going, and I can't wait to read all your comments as it says something is very wrong with the murder of Austin Metcalf. They confiscated over 70 cell phones from the students to ensure that no footage of his violent, racially motivated murder was leaked. Austin Metcalf was stabbed so violently that he bled out in under 1 minute, and Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff, has a big black handler that keeps him in line and uses him to stifle away any white person who mentions that this was a racially motivated murder that needs to be addressed. And this comes after Jeff Metcalf's humiliation apology tour on the media, where he sympathizes with his son's murderer while they publicly raise money and dance on his son's grave. Look how Jeff Metcalf's black handler showed up to the protest and put him on the phone to yell at the protesters. Bravo to Jake Lang for holding his ground. He is right. Because of Jeff's behavior, there are going to be 1,000 more Austin Metcalfs because these violent blacks are now empowered to murder whites without consequence. Let's roll the tape.
Would you be willing to stand by me in a press conference or in an individual interview and talk about this issue that is larger than Austin at this point? God rest the beautiful young man's soul that would have been one of our strongest voices if he was still alive today. Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, my turn to speak. You are part of the fucking problem, my friend. You're trying to create more race divide than bridging the gap. I do not condone anything you do. You do not have any fucking...
That's called white guilt.
No, let it talk.
Let me finish. I give you your time.
You're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir. You are creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness.
Here, you are being weak. I gotta be honest with you about that, sir.
You're being weak. Condemn your son's killer and the culture that caused it.
Hey, Jeff.
That's the problem. You've been submitted.
Hold on, hey, Jeff.
You've been submitted.
I'll handle it from here.
You've been submitted, sir.
You're not gonna make
If
us
we
back
were all,
down.
if we were all of your nature,
down.
Guys, listen.
You're
Let
not
me
gonna
say
say
this.
what a weak man.
Do you know who you're talking to? You don't, do you?
I'm talking to a black man.
You don't. No, you're not.
Okay.
You sit here, you talk about Trump.
But I am. You're not
Google
gonna
my
make me
name
back
and
down.
Trump. No. When you do that, my name is Bruce.
I agree with black
No,
males winning,
Google that.
but they're not winning
but
right
what
now.
You're doing,
They're becoming
but what
degenerates.
you're doing
and murdering white
you're
people.
not helping America. You're no more patriotic than I am. No
Being
way.
silent is
Where
not
were you
helping.
on January
You've been
6th?
silent. It's only gotten worse.
Where were you on January 6th?
You've been silent. It's only gotten
Where
worse.
Where were you? Did you stand for your country
So you
when
think
they
that
stole
made
our
you
vote?
patriot because you showed up there? Does that make you a patriot?
Joe
What's your
Biden,
solution?
you
Joe
showed
Biden
up?
is a
All you're doing is
pedophile.
condemning us. What's your
My
solution?
solution is to help people where they're weak. So we have an issue in young black males' lives across the country.
It's not
It doesn't
say that
matter.
to Jeff
Nothing's
Metcalf.
changed.
It's
Say
getting
that to
worse.
Jeff Metcalf.
We talk about it, man.
Say it.
At the end of the
So
day,
then- so
the
then
man
what
is
is his-
asking.
his-
So let me ask you this: you got a father who's grieving, and your response is he's weak.
My father is celebrating my strength right now.
You have no idea. You'll never win the Senate. And what I'll do, I'll come to Florida and run for Senate and run as a Republican, and I'll kick your butt.
No,
Guaranteed.
you
need
lose,
2 years,
bro.
You need
Guaranteed.
2 years of
Guaranteed.
residency
You
in
lose.
Florida.
Because this
First of all.
behavior is why
First
we're in
of
the
all.
situation where we are.
No.
We get these. Is that what it is? Okay. Well, at the end of the day, he's asked you what to do and what not to do.
Listen,
you have a right to
he's
do it
no
or not
longer
do
You
it.
Austin
can say
Metcalf.
that's about
I love
Austin
Austin.
Metcalf, but we're gonna get
You don't
sick
know
of this
Austin.
movement.
I love somebody
You
enough
love
to
the
be
thought
strong
of using
with.
Austin
No.
for T-shirts, for propaganda, and to get out here and talk about
You
who
want to
you
shut
are.
down a
I'm
white
not
man
raising
right
money.
now. That's what
I'll
I'm trying
shut
to
you
do.
down, ain't
I'm not
you're not
raising
shutting me
I'm not
down.
raising money like
Because
Carmelo
I got
Anthony.
family.
I'm not
I'm not
raising
gonna
money
be
like
put
Carmelo
down anymore.
Anthony.
No,
I
bro, you
finance
stop.
this out
You
of
came
my
here to try to
life.
shut him down.
No, I
That's
came
what
in to
this
give him
is.
a message from a father.
And listen,
but I realized
Nah,
that's
bro.
not his deal.
Let's be
message-
honest. You're a black man. You're trying to shut him down.
I'm gonna-
Hey, real quick, just want to know if you guys picked up on what I picked up on that video. If you noticed, if you saw exactly the optics that they were trying to present with this, and I'd love to know. So leave a comment, and I want to see how many of you guys think like me. Not to say that necessarily that this is correct, and my guess and assumption is exactly what they're doing, but it seems pretty clear, pretty obvious, the picture they're trying to paint here. At least from that perspective, because everything else is as clear as mud, very confusing, and almost makes you want to scratch your head like, what are they trying to hide? Why did they confiscate so many cell phones? Who does that? And I can tell you this right now, you ain't taking my damn cell phone. That ain't gonna happen. But they're trying to muddy this up. They're trying to make it confusing. They're trying to tank the jury pool. This is what they do. Why can't everything just be simple, easy, straightforward, and to the point? And this would be no better time than ever to bring up Medicare, because it seems to be the same way. Complicated, confusing, overwhelming, 24,000+ plan options to choose from. Bless you.
Sorry.
Gesundheit. Why can't it be simple? Why can't it be easy? Why can't we have somebody like Chapter come in, our partner, and simplify it and create a solution? So that's exactly what we have done. We have partnered with Chapter, and they offer free Medicare help. And call them and get your free Medicare consultation. It's simple, quick, fast, easy. And the number's on the screen, 270-467-2426. And I think I have another comment that I want to share with you guys from yesterday, from my video. I haven't gone through the comment section yet for Squirrel Tribe's video, but I would imagine that there are some great comments there as well. And this is the comment that I want to read to you guys from Deborah and Allmiller. I hope I'm saying this correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. Kevin, I gave my friend the Chapter info, and you helped her get my mom set up with Medicare and try to set her up on Medicaid. It was all graciously done in a couple of days. What she could not get done in the last 12 months. Chapter is helping get her ready for 24/7 care, and the other Social Security Medicare treated her like garbage. God bless you and Michelle. I know who I'm calling when I'm ready to start Social Security, and it looks like there's about 8 heart emojis. So excellent, fantastic, great news. honestly, I'm extremely excited to share this with you, but even more so to get the feedback and the comments from you guys like these, to know that this is an amazing service being offered by Chapter, 100% free, and helping so many people who need it, who probably didn't even know that this option was available. Okay. So call Chapter 270-467-2426. As we move on to the next set of clips here, brace yourself. The language is going to be a bit harsh.
All right, y'all. Respectfully, if you're not from El Salvador, shut the fuck up. If you, for all those motherfuckers también that you never lived there, especially when se metían a los buses, when they used to get into the buses and robbed you at gunpoint or at knife point, when they used to take over your businesses if you didn't pay your rent to the gang members, when the houses were taken away from you by gang members because they wanted to use it as their, like, you know, their little kickback or whatever, with the women that got raped and killed, the kids that got indoctrinated into, they took their kids and indoctrinated them into the 18th Streeters or the Mara Salvatrucha. If you weren't there for all that shit, shut the fuck up. You don't know anything about human rights. You don't know anything about anything. Worry about your country and your bullshit that's going on in your country, and don't be worried about other people's country. You weren't there. When you're out of touch and you never experienced none of that shit, it's easy for you to talk. All these complainers, especially the Democrats, shut the fuck up. You don't know nothing about nothing. Just shut up. You only hear whatever they give you in the news and you run with that shit. Just shut up. No country is better than another country. Yes, we all know that. Not even the United States here. Not the shit that we go through here. But if you never lived through those times, you don't know what human rights is. If you don't know what it is for your own family member to get, assaulted, raped, killed by gang members or whatever, and now that El Salvador is free of all that shit, you don't know the difference, okay? Because you never experienced it. That's why you're out of touch. Just don't comment on shit you don't know and you never lived through. You know what I'm saying? Because when you never lived through something, it's easy for you to talk. Just shut up and move along, baby.
En El Salvador priorizamos la seguridad de nuestros ciudadanos honestos sobre la comodidad de los criminales. Algunos dicen de que hemos encarcelado miles, pero la realidad es que hemos liberado a millones. Ahora son los buenos los que viven libres, sin miedo, con sus libertades y derechos humanos totalmente respetados.
Matt Van Swole says, I'm having trouble getting over the fact that Democrats sent a U.S. senator on a 4.5-hour flight to another country to fight to release a criminal illegal immigrant, but couldn't find any time to make a short road trip to Western North Carolina after Hurricane Helene to help us. Kevin Dalton says 100 days since the Palisades and Eaton fires started. Of the nearly 7,000 buildings destroyed in the Palisades fire, just 12 permits have been issued for rebuilding.
Yeah, Alex, in some ways there's been a lot of things that have changed. In other ways, a lot of things that haven't changed. As you said, look at this mess. You can still see all the debris left over from these homes that burned down, but more changes are on the way.
We need far more resources to the fire department.
Mayor Karen Bass announcing no budget cuts to LA's fire department. Now 100 days since one of LAFD's biggest challenges ever, the deadly Palisades fire.
LA's disaster recovery is on track to be the fastest in modern California history.
She's all smiles, but things are going slowly. I know we've brought things to her attention.
Luke Melcher, a contractor working in the Palisades and Eaton fire zones. 100 days in, and crews like his continue clearing burned debris on some lots while others look untouched. According to the LA Department of Building and Safety last week, of the nearly 7,000 buildings destroyed in the Palisades, 12 permits have been issued to rebuild.
The main issues, I would say, were our closing out inspections, just waiting on the city to get out, close out our fire debris permits. Although they published a guideline, each inspector seems to have a different criteria that he's following.
Are you seeing one main particular complaint among residents?
No, I think what the issues that we hear over and over again are now like it goes in stages, right? Immediately after the fires, we want to focus on getting those claims paid immediately.
Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara in the Palisades says California is having an insurance crisis as rates increase for homeowners statewide, essentially billed for natural disasters.
This is why we need to focus on mitigation, bring the price down, bring competition back into these areas and bring the insurance rates down eventually.
What do you think the city could be doing better?
Well, I think we could always do things better. I mean, the one issue that we're grappling with now, as we talk about regularly, is waiving fees. And so we're working on that now to see what that would mean to the budget.
As far as waiving permits and fees, the mayor says that she could have an update as early as next week in her State of the City that's planned for Monday. Reporting live tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Let's keep in mind Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have cut all the red tape and expedited the blah, 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 blah. And Byron Donalds here says Democrats didn't care when our soldiers were fired over vaccines. Democrats didn't care when speech was suppressed. Democrats didn't care when our justice system was weaponized. Democrats didn't care when Biden broke our border and facilitated an invasion of millions. Democrats now care that Trump is following the law and deporting illegals. Democrats should be ashamed of themselves, and this is why they'll continue to lose.
The story they're trying to tell, as you heard there from that clip, Congressman, of Ezra Klein at the New York Times, is it's not so much about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, it's about you watching at home, you who oppose Donald Trump. They're trying to suggest if he can take away Abrego Garcia, he can take away you, the average American. What do you say to that?
You know, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. They should be ashamed of themselves because they didn't care when Joe Biden was dismissing our soldiers because they didn't want to take a vaccine. They didn't care when the Biden administration was suppressing the free speech of the American people. They didn't care when the Biden administration ignored federal immigration and border security laws and allowed more than 10 million people to come into this country illegally. They didn't care about any of that. What they do care about is that Donald Trump is following the law and following the mandate of the American people and sending illegals back to their home country. They care about that. This is why the Democrats are in shambles.
And speaking of losers, Sarah Rose posts, Oregon Congresswoman Maxine Dexter is the next retard traveling to El Salvador to demand the release of MS-13 gang members, wife beater, and human trafficker Kilmar Garcia. And she says Garcia was kidnapped and no one's safe in Trump's America.
Congresswoman Maxine Dexter here from Oregon's 3rd District. What Trump has done to Kilmar Abrego Garcia is inhumane, cruel, and it's creating a constitutional crisis. Full stop. It is a government-funded kidnapping. Plain and simple. Kilmar, a father of 3, lived in Maryland for over half his adult life. He had legal permission to stay in the United States. Trump mistakenly deported him and is blatantly defying the Supreme Court's order to bring him back. And this isn't just about one man. Trump is targeting international students. He's talking about mass deportations. No one is safe in Trump's America. He is trying to incite fear and is directly assaulting the rule of law. This moment is about whether our government respects the Constitution or steamrolls it. We must speak out. We must stay loud. Our democracy and our humanity depends on it.
Can't make this stuff up, folks, but we will end on a high note here. Happy Easter and a message from our commander-in-chief, our President Trump, 47 himself. God bless you all. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.
On Easter Sunday, we celebrate his glorious resurrection and proclaim, as Christians have done for nearly 2,000 years, he is risen. Through the pain and sacrifice of Jesus on the cross, we saw God's boundless love and devotion to all humanity. And in that moment of his resurrection, history was forever changed with the promise of everlasting life. As we approach this joyous Easter Sunday, I want to wish Christians everywhere a happy and beautiful and blessed holiday. America is a nation of believers. We need God. We want God. And with his help, we will make our nation stronger, safer, greater, and more prosperous, and much more united than ever before. Thank you to everyone, and have a really happy Easter.